Welcome to this short video series of reflections on core themes that we come across in liminal coaching practice. This time we are considering, what does success look like? This video is about listing the things that we feel can't happen rather than imagining successful steps towards cumulative achievements which bring about real change. The brain is not that great at telling the difference between imagination and reality. Experiments done by Alvaro Pascual showed that neuroplasticity was a reality and not a fringe theory in the mid-90s. Neurons were observed rewiring themselves to assist in learning a simple four-finger piano exercise. This great piece of research yielded paradigm-shifting results. But the story didn't stop there, because the team went on to perform the same experiment again with new subjects. Only this time, they got them to imagine that they were doing the exercise rather than doing it. They got the same result. What this illustrates is how powerful the imagination is. Separate research has shown that people who could not stop thinking about what had happened to their relatives in the Holocaust ended up needing treatment for real PTSD. The point is that negative rumination about the past or negatively predicting the future will produce as much stress and negative emotion as the actual events. You have a meeting coming up. It's probably going to be okay, but you start thinking about everything that could go wrong. You run through 50 different disaster scenarios. The actual meeting is excellent, but you have been to 51, and 50 of them were a disaster. The stress and negative emotion generated by these imaginary disaster scenarios increases the level of cortisol in the brain, which acts to shut down the higher solution creation capabilities. So, by the time we find ourselves wanting to explore what success might look like, we are dumbstruck. If we have become habituated to a litany focused exclusively on obstacles and lack of resources, we are engaged in creating the psychological and emotional stress of repeated failure every time we run through the story of how impossible the success we need is. We effectively slam the door on options for action which are achievable and rewarding. What can we do? We can step back and we can ask the question, what is one small thing that I can do today that moves us in the right direction? This question shifts the focus from the overwhelming, unscalable mountain to taking the next step, and that being enough at that time. That helps, but we can also do a lot more. Writing out a brief description of what better is like before you go to sleep is powerful. Deliberately focusing the imagination on the desired outcome gets a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate to gather resources around the mind to help make the situation occur. This focus also provides themes for our solution creation capability to work on during REM sleep. Doing this reduces levels of stress and levels of cortisol, enabling us to harvest positive ideas and next steps. It also increases our tendency to focus on what is achievable and rewarding, rather than only discussing things which we have already decided are not going to happen. Liminal coaching utilizes several different techniques to disrupt this kind of repetitive pattern and enable people to be more positive and solutions focused. You can find more resources on the website and in the blog at www.liminalcoaching.co.uk. And feel free to reach out because we don't charge for an initial discussion. Great to see you. Hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye for now.